My first recollection of Mr. O'Neill must have been in the late 40s. He was on a visit to the school along with some other members of his family. He was a tall gentleman in a khaki type short pants.
Having lived very close to Mr. O'Neill's mother, at least this is the time when he was just Jack. He was called Jack, not even Ralph, and his brother was Jim. I remember him then. They looked after their cattle and walked about like the rest of us in our dirt roads, sometimes without shoes, and did their chores, because then people taught their children to work. And that's why he's such a hard worker and working for all of us, because he had been taught, and I would encourage other people to teach their children to work.
I can recall seeing him again in the early 50s, the beginning of the 50s, when he came to the Sound to replace Brigadier Flex, who was the headmaster of the Methodist elementary school here. And of course, in those days, the Sound community was very isolated, especially in terms of transportation.
Yes, I recall him living in a little house just opposite my father's house. It's a little house about 16 feet long, 8 feet wide. And at that time, there was no electricity. People used just a lamp. There was no running water. There was an outdoor bathroom, yes. It was just the basic things that a person could use to get by with. But that did not deter him. Yeah, he was determined to make it, and he made it.
In those early days, wasn't no water catchment facilities that was used for storing water. While he was here, he saw the need for a proper water catchment facility, and so he encouraged the government of that day to build a cistern to the school. And by 1954, that cistern was built. Even though Mr. O'Neill had a house, there were times when he would walk up to the valley, from the valley to the Sound on a Monday morning. Someone had to go down to the valley on a Friday afternoon to collect the horse and bring him over so that Mr. O'Neill would be able to ride back down to the valley. Then he had Waldemar Crickey, Reginald Reimer, and all these old gentlemen who he made his friends, and his Friday afternoon would be taken up, speaking to them on his way to the valley. So what this means is that he would be arriving in the valley sometime in the night.
Here we are, after all these years, face to face, heart to heart, and I loved you from the start, and I never thought that we'd be standing here after all these years. Here we are with another song to sing. All these days pass us by as we watched our young years fly, but I'm still the one who shares your hopes and fears after all these years. After all these years, we still reach out one to another. After all these years, you're still the one that I am here with after all these years. And I've loved all these days, all we've been through, and I just want to say I'm so glad it's been with you. Here's one more song from the heart, for the laughter and the tears.
So we have a man then with a tremendous experience, a man who knows the past, and a man who can take us forward to the future with great hope, because he know what it is to be poor, he know what it is to be in poverty, he know what it is to see a community that was yearning for change, yearning to be developed, and were obstructed because some basic facilities that was needed wasn't there. And he, having worked hard to put these facilities in place, he had the pleasure of living to see the positive change in the community. He had the pleasure to see some of those persons whose hands he held, who he taught in the school system, develop and grow and are now contributing to the elevation and better development of these islands and the Bojangara community in particular. We feel certain that the way forward is to give Mr. O'Neill another opportunity to continue the leadership of this country, and indeed to be elected as the district representative for the 9th electoral district. We'll be doing justice to a man who has given so much for this country, whose love and affection has helped us to build a better country. And as a result of that, we can see a bright and prosperous future for these Virgin Islands.
After all these years, we still reach out one to another. After all these years, you're still the one that I am here with. After all.